Alright, so in this video, I'm just gonna voice my opinion kind of on why I believe the PKs are the superior faction to be siding with, at least for the facilities. And I just want to address a couple things first before we get into it and some stuff you need to know. The first thing being is that only the first facility really affects your story. So only that first facility in Old Villador where they're talking about the water tower, it is a water tower, only that one will have like a story impact. So in that case, you may want to side with the survivors. That's probably the only reason you would want to, and that's my opinion. And of course, I'm going to explain that later. But yeah, the second facility, there is PKs there, and they'll like kind of say, hey, get this water tower for us. But again, you also don't have to. You can do it with the survivors if you choose. Other than that, the bulk of the argument could just be summed up that the Peacekeepers gives you the crossbow, the best weapon in the game, and that the survivors, most of the stuff, once you have the Night Runner tools and most of your parkour skills, it's really kind of useless. Like, I don't find myself wishing that I had zip lines and stuff. I'm going to go into depth about all the individuals, just really quickly sum it up, why I don't use it. But yeah, that's just a broad generalization, is that the survivors, their stuff, while cool, is just not that helpful once you have max Night Runner tools. You don't really need yourself any other parkour supplements and aids to your parkouring. You're good just with Night Runner tools and skills. And then with the PKs, yeah, their stuff is actually pretty useful. Like, some of the traps are good, just taking the heat off you sometimes, distracting zombies, and again, just really the crossbow is the main argument there. So our first survivor reward here, the zip lines, and also I'm going to talk about the two-way zip lines here, is that where these are set up, this is the main issue, is that where these are set up, it's not like a huge time save to use a zip line. What I mean by that is you have like just the base paraglider, you can cover those gaps between the buildings and find your way up within a reasonable amount of time. Like, it's not like you're taking a zip line from the VNC tower all the way down to the ground. No, there's nothing really like that. If there was something like that, of course the zip lines would be way more useful. And also the speed of them, and like yeah, it also does restrict your movement pathway, so it could just be not going towards the place you need to travel to at all. And if you have the maxed grappling hook and paraglider, it's simply faster and just more efficient to combo those two in the direction you need to go, instead of just hopping onto a zip line which has a fixed path. And so up next now we have the airbags. I'm also just going to cover the upgraded airbags. So the main thing about the airbags here is that you can just replicate, like the yellow ones, you can just replicate their jump by vaulting over an enemy or using a vent or just doing a double jump over a car or something. That's really the main thing there. The blue ones, though, they actually do make you go pretty freaking high. So that's pretty cool about that. But of course, it's the sixth one in there, so not really worth going for. But yeah, it's just the main thing here is that it can be replicated by doing other parkour moves and skills, and just the paraglider to catch air. And the landing bags here, I don't really think I have to cover the landing bags. Like, really, just open your paraglider, active landing. Like, that's dumb. Survivor Revival is actually more of a complex skill here. So basically, when you take lethal damage, basically you die. Inside of the survivor controlled zone, you can press triangle and some guy will revive you on a rooftop somewhere in that survivor zone. Now, the one reason I think this is not that great is usually there's going to be a close, like, Night Runner hideout, windmill, safe zone somewhere that's close enough to where if you've literally liberated the facility in that safe zone, you're going to have some place to spawn in somewhere close to where you died. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about being revived. Like, maybe you keep your nighttime points. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty useless as long as you have something, some amount of safe zones, I guess, liberated in that zone. Now, as for the air vents, nothing bad to say about the air vents. They're great, right? But I have something bad to say about survivor air vents in particular, is that I don't really notice like more air vents spawning in my zone. So of course, Like, you can still have air vents in PK zones, so I'm not really sure why this is a whole reward in itself. Like, I'm thinking here, like, from experience, it spawns extra vents, but I haven't really seen them or noticed them that much in the survivor zones. Moving on to the PK side of things, of course, again, the main thing is the crossbow. We're going to start from the car traps here. So the car traps, they're mainly really useful just for distracting the zombies. It does kill really all of the biters, and it sends some of them flying, like I'm talking really flying. It's pretty cool. You can have some fun with them. Nothing too special. Again, really just good for distracting those biters and killing them. The Razor Cannon is great for killing zombies. Like, this thing one-shots biters, one-shots virals. I've even seen it one-shot those little armored zombies, but yeah, they're not little as well. But yeah, you know what I mean. Against renegades and stuff, I also think it does pretty good damage. Only bad thing being here is that you're stationary, and just you have to have a cannon spawn in a favorable place for you to actually take advantage of it. Now, the next thing here is the electric fence traps. The electric fence traps are pretty garbage, to be honest, like, especially compared to the Dying Light 1 ones. The fence traps were a lot better in that game. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about them. As for the crossbow, oh, the crossbow. Like, if you've seen any of, like, my past 5 or so videos talking about guides, like, you know I love the crossbow. If you don't know I love the crossbow, now you know I love the crossbow. It just, oh, it's so good. It's basically like having a PK Razor Cannon, but in your hand, and you shoot it 5 times, you have to reload. Short reload time, big fire rate. The Molotov lanterns, these are pretty good as well. Do pretty good crowd damage. Again, bad thing is that they have to be on that little lamppost there, and you also need like a throwable or a bow shot, crossbow shot, I'm pretty sure as well, to knock it down. But yeah, spread fire to your enemies, and the same argument kind of goes with the pendulum traps here. Bad thing is only in one location, but it does good crowd damage, and of course it's a pendulum. Like, that's pretty freaking cool, right? UV traps, these are a godsend in nighttime because there's no flares in this game. Unlike the first game, these are pretty much like a flare safe zone. Repels all the volatiles and virals chasing you, and also refills your immunity timer. The only bad thing here is that it's only useful during nighttime. So with all that said, the main takeaways for this video is that my personal stance on which facilities you should be assigning to which factions is to assign all of them to the PKs for the reasons that you get tools that are actually usable in the end game, and also the late game as well, mid game. Basically, as soon as you start unlocking your Night Runner tools, the survivor rewards kind of go into obsolescence, and these PK tools are just there for fun. Like, they're awesome. Crossbow, best weapon in the game, hands down. Maybe if there was guns, the crossbow would be a little bit worse. But yeah, that's the main argument for this, as well as the UV lights. Again, just want to reiterate here that this really has nothing to do with the story. Pick who you want for the story. But if you're going into like a playthrough just for fun or whatever, definitely pick all your facilities for the PKs, whatever. Min-maxing your world for the most useful stuff in the world, whatever. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next video.